All right, Cancer, this is so difficult for me to kind of like rationalize here because milk and honey, well, first of all, clock time pressure in a rush, and then milk and honey. Beautiful cards. They're beautiful cards, but clock time is saying, like, let's go. The clock is ticking. I need to get to this place of feeling like my needs are being met. Now, you may feel like time is running out for you to get to this place of milk and honey, but the thing is it's already there. So where is the pressure coming from? Is it that somebody else is feeling like their needs are not being met by you or you them? But we're talking about a rushed feeling. Time is running out. One of the things that it talks about is increased responsibility and feeling it's too late to pursue your dreams. But milk and honey is saying that you're coming into this place in your life where you get to have all your needs fulfilled and met. There's abundance here, right? It's the sweet time in your life. But are you feeling rushed to kind of get to a deadline on this? Or, is this about another person here? Now, one of the things that it talks about, though, is coming from a place of authenticity. So it's about, you nurturing yourself, right? And not feeling pressured to kind of provide this somewhere else. But, the other thing, though, too, is if you feel like the clock is ticking on, your time in the land of milk and honey. All right, Cancer. Here's your overall. The Six of Swords. Okay. So the Six of Swords is about moving away from conflict, right? But there's always that kind of like sadness there, right? Not having expected to have to do this, to move away from a difficult situation, right? Needing to leave something completely behind in order for you to find peace and peace of mind, right? But we'll see how this is playing out. Okay, so in the past, the Two of Wands. What bothers me about this is that some of you may be looking at the past like, damn it, I had another path in front of me that I could have taken. But instead I chose the one that I needed to move on from now. Now for some of you, it's an inability here to make a choice to act on something and then having to move on because of the Six of Swords. But with the Two of Wands, we're talking about, you hold your world in your hand. What the hell are you going to do with it? There may be two different courses of action, or it could just be one, and you needing to make the choice to do this now, But there's still the conflict that needs to be moved away from. Oh boy. All right. So in the present, the Lovers. Now, and we'll see here, but with the Lovers, definitely I feel like for a lot of you this is going to be about a very significant relationship, and definitely about major choices that you're making. With the Two of Wands, it's choosing to act toward the Lovers and making a choice to be a part of a relationship, but needing to move on from difficult issues. For some of you, it's just a major life choice. But before, you can fully act, there are things that you're going to have to move on from. But we'll see here. Future conditions, the Five of Pentacles. So my problem with that is not so much rejection, but, feeling like there's something that you're lacking and needing to kind of move on from that feeling, because I'm still looking at the Lovers in the present moment. Now, for some of you, absolutely, it could be that, there's a feeling of rejection and it's time to move on, even though you made the choice to act towards something here. But I don't know. With the Five of Pentacles, right, what I feel more so around this is, there are things that you are not a part of or on the outside looking in on. And that's where the conflict needs to end if, the choice to be a part of a relationship is going to work. And again, I say that because of the Lovers. But I don't know, like, I don't feel like this is the determination of you moving away from this. because we're talking specifically about a conflict, right? Your best path to follow, the Three of Cups. So this is, needing some support. But I feel like, it's needing support from, a person in particular. But this is also about, happiness and celebration, right? So is there a reason to celebrate, maybe a reunion? And you made the choice to act on this when you could have done something else. But there are still issues, though, that kind of need to be moved on from. I feel like this is a good thing. I think that for you, there's a reason to. Now, absolutely, we could be talking about third-party situations and all that bullshit, right? And somebody rejecting that and moving on from it. I'm no longer going to be a part of, a situation where there are other people involved. I need to look at, where I want to be in terms of just one, right? Like, going from being surrounded by a bunch of people to just wanting one, But I don't know, like I get the feeling like there is a reason to be happy here. But there are still issues in future conditions. Yeah, look at it. Look at it. In your environment, the star with the lovers. Yes, it's good. It's good. So we're talking about the healing of a relationship, right? Getting some emotional balance here, washing all that shit clean, having hope for the future, and you made the choice, though. You made the choice to act on this. And it was a major choice for you. And you may be moving on from one relationship and going to one that is much more important to you. But I'm still looking at that Five of Pentacles and going, what? I need to see what's happening here. Okay, your hopes and your fears, the Six of Wands. Have you done the right thing? If you're feeling a sense of victory here, then did you do, the right thing for you? Because we're talking about recognition for, doing a job well done here. It's also positive recognition, being recognized. And not only that, but for some of you, it's going to be, needing to recognize that there are some things that you are like on the outside of that, you no longer want to be a part of. That shouldn't be a part of what is happening here. But, I like the Six of Wands, especially with the star being there, right? I think some of you are looking past the fact that there is a reason to be happy and celebrate, and I go right back to the Oracle cards. You are in the land of milk and honey. You should be enjoying this, but instead there's a feeling of rush and pressure and the clock ticking. Do you feel like time is running out on this? But it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? But I look at the Six of Wands and, I feel here like absolutely it's about hoping that there is recognition that you are trying to do the right thing, but also that they need to, do the right thing as well. And then coming out the Seven of Pentacles. All right. And it makes perfect sense to me. The Seven of Pentacles coming out. We're talking about, not seeing the kind of results that you wanted, but looking at how there can be more growth. What action can you take that is going to bring you the kind of growth that you want to see? Is there still potential for growth? But with the Five of Pentacles, there is something lacking. There is something missing. And whatever that is, or wherever you feel like you have not been in the know, so to speak, that is where we're needing to move on. We need to move on from this in order to see the potential growth, right? And then the Four of Cups. Yeah, there's still an issue. There is still going to be an issue. If I'm talking to those of you who are looking at healing issues within a relationship, there are things that you are not a part of. And that can't be the case anymore if there's going to be growth in this relationship. We need to move on from that. We need to have complete honesty and truth, right? But you may not be happy with the fact that you still feel like you're being left out of certain things, that they're not, involving you in certain parts of their life, you know, and you're the one that's feeling the lack. And with the Four of Cups, there is, the emotional apathy. Like, damn it, that cup should have been the one that gave me, what I was wanting, what I needed, right? But you're looking at it now and going, I don't know. I'm not happy with this, and there's like the loss of interest, emotional apathy, those types of things. But you're, I worry that some of you are putting yourself in this position rather than, doing what is right. Don't wait around for somebody to recognize the fact that you are not happy with this. I do think that there needs to be, direct communication. I almost wish that the fucking Knight of Swords would have showed up. So let me start from the beginning, the Chariot, and there you are, right? And with the Two of Wands. In the past, right, you have done what you needed to move on from the conflict, but unfortunately it still comes up because you make a choice, though, to do something different. I almost feel like you're redirected. You had everything open to you in the past with the Two of Wands. You could have went this way or you could have went that way. You made a major choice and gave yourself a sense of direction that was different than what you initially intended. That's what I feel like looking at this. Now, we're making a choice here with the Lovers and with the Star to heal some issues once the truth is out in the open. Having absolute clarity here, clarity on the choice that you're making because you believe that it's going to bring you hope and healing, right? And the truth will heal a situation in a relationship. Moving into the Four of Cups, like I said, you cannot wait for this person to recognize the fact that you're not happy about not being involved with, certain things, because you're the one that's feeling lack. You're the one that's being left out here. But with the Seven of Pentacles, we're still looking at the potential for growth. But, you may have the truth and that clarity, but why is it that you still feel like you're not a part of, a person's life here? Especially with the Lovers being there, and that's what I feel like this is, where you should be in a place of absolute happiness and abundance. Something comes back up. I feel like this comes back up from past issues because of the healing that's going on with the truth. I don't want to be not involved anymore. I want to be directly involved, and we need to move on from that issue because it's conflicting for the both of you. But what can we do to see the growth that we want, the potential growth, if we're not happy with the way things are going now? Because there's still a reason to be happy. And there's still a reason here to be able to enjoy the life that you're creating based on the choice that you made. But the clock is ticking, right? Like, is this going to completely run out? But I don't feel like it's your fault. I feel like it's the other person. I think that you're tired of it, looking at the Four of Cups, right? Okay, so there is prosperity, but there are things that you're still stuck with, and you're going to have to pay attention to, the guidance that's coming through, and guide yourself to a place where you are no longer stuck, right? But you're also looking for that kind of guidance, though. And again, all of this, the whole message here, the big theme is that you are in a beautiful place in your life, but there is an inability to enjoy it because there are certain things that, you're stuck with that are making you feel like the clock is running out on this. But it doesn't have to be that way. That prosperity is still there, right? But pay attention to, your own inner guidance, the guidance that's coming to you, that's trying to help you get unstuck and see all of the beautiful things that are there and the prosperity that's there. And then reaching your destination. Your light is shining brightly, very nice. So once you get the bigger picture, you'll be able to reach the destination that you are wanting to go to, and then I go back to the Six of Swords, where you're no longer stuck, no longer dealing with that kind of conflict. Right? But I think that for a lot of you, it's like, I just want to reach that destination. But the thing is you're already there. This is just static. It's just static right now. And that's not to say that it's not important. Absolutely it is. But it doesn't have to be the make or break here. you know. But we're going to have to look at the bigger picture, which is the prosperity, the happiness, the potential for growth, the love, the healing, the truth, you know. But it's not until you see the bigger picture and understand that you are already in a beautiful place that you will feel like you reached your destination.